下来，干毛啊！为什么刚刚他已经把我关起来了？刚刚竟然这样，还是别看这个。成长记录都不见了。哦，又挡了。啊，等一下。今天几号？8月10。
Every month of every year.
重来好了。
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-destroying, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
保速线能不能再长一点？奇怪。好的，我们继续。他刚刚是说呢，这个叫史丹利的先生，我们正在操控。他每天就直接他等下要跟他讲说啊什么的，之后呢，对，就这样，好像挺无聊的。之后呢，他
All
就
of his
突然
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他扮演427的员工，之后呢，他每天就在那边打字嘛。之后呢，他突然发现说没人在那边 say hello。
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
他说他没找到他同事是这样讲。那边有绿耶。哇！我怎么帮我拖到外面？哦，他还卡我。
Oh, and I get... no, apparently not. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
他说叫往左边。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
他说会议室没人，所以叫我去老板办公室，只是这怎么画的跟我写的字差不多？这样什么？问号问号。哦，10，说这边不行，给谁？43，没有史丹利，你没有被谁安替哦。
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read the Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
bug 吗？好像是。如果到时候翻译出来的话，那英文应该会是下面那一行，那个黑黑的。只是说，应该是这样。只是说这双称号。 烦呢。早说这是 bug 嘛！啊，我在那边慌忙这个哦，然后现在要重玩。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stan decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
这段我就不翻译了，如果待会就到时候如果下面要写的话。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
感觉其他菜蛮多的。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
哦，还有刚刚讲的事情就是，如果有可能会在底下那条黑色的夹子，就是这么简单。如果英文好的话，我到底有没有跟我们讲？随便。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
有个跳下一段。
rising chill of uncertainty.
超档的。
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
这搭建也太恐怖了！我要去那边玩。喂
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
让我懂。之前我忘了到底怎么找到这款的，呵。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
所以把引脚机放在这边了。
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stan decided to go up to his boss's office. So coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
直接先开好。感觉路差蛮大的。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
因为讲话都一样。
The lights rose on an enormous room with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
好了，终于可以轮到我讲话了。就是啊，如果待会都是录到同样片段的话，那就这就是这块就这样。同样片段，同样片段。
And when at last he found the source of... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments even one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left of a struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the journey. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment you fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
但电影怎么就这样死了？病没有啊？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
很像那个马桶那个有没有？底下破一个洞，电上这样演。
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
史丹利的电脑，这应该是他办公室吧？办公室出来就变一看，中文。他原始预设这样。 是谁的？没写。这应该是 DNS 之后，这个是谁 ？Windows 的有人上班会突然的搞，好像我有这样看过。这个看不出来，关起来，关起来。这制作名的名单吗？是不是？ 好，似乎在哪里看过。哦，夜日期选单，不对啊，字幕不一样哎。 剩2题。说这是第一代的东西吗？不是吧？但也还蛮像的，因为这一代好像没有看到这东西。按钮哎，也有椅子哎，不能坐。看不到。哇，眼睛超亮的。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
才刚刚这样讲吗？到。
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
你当机。
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose you. Don't let time choose for you.
你怎么不讲话了呢？讲话吗？你到了吗？没有。怎么当那么自由？你们要跳下一段？76，66，好吓人！
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company and
跳段。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detored through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes, I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
我的车是这样的，是单地跳上去，车跑到门上的。
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, stash your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
进去。哦，现在开始进。
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse, but I might be remembering this wrong.
Wait.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this a story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Yeah. Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're living it up to the line from now on.
在吗？
哦，终于回来了。
那么晚了
啊！
这边就是排挤我是。
啊？什么？什么东西？我刚才手按到
不然他们玩了呀，他们排挤我，我欺负。
不然你就不要给他 OP 了。
Already it was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
让我关门。哎，可以。终于。哦，还好没了图。
总团长，我们一起去拍 H 页，黑石 IT 要不要？
等一下好不好？
模组包，那只有68的模组要吗？
好啊，那等好不好？我再拍，等我再拍一下。
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
整只肉包重来。可能6点半就考了，可能。
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to.
等一下要去买晚餐。
哦，好啊，等你买完再玩好了，可能就玩完，可能。
From here, it's left. Oh no.
我吃晚餐的时候不能玩呢。
没关系啊，你吃完啊，我怕说我等下拍不完。
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story. I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart this game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
Well,
you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being by the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
这预设的啦。
Wait, we're back to the office.
结果刚整段就是刚刚他的陈回一样。
The story?
嗯。
Is any of this ringing a bell?
就知道他的路线跑。
No, not a deadline. How could you have done this to us?
待会讲。
And after we
他这边有没有？
After everything we've been through, you...
等他讲完。
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
我刚刚有没有整个超囧的？他说那个显示没有回应嘛，结果呢整段都不见了，整个重录了，哭。
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're England people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering? Well, I don't know. How about this direction?
大西瓜的屁啊！那个光碟机不能动。
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh no, not you again, Stanley. The line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitoring.
Just
don't acknowledge it. It should be fine.
我没看外过。
你看跑酷嘛，你在跑酷啊？你看。
我上去哦。
你看你跑酷哦。
还。
玩什么跑酷啊？你看。你看，偷跑密道，玩穿墙。
穿墙的没啊。
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that both each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
我不知道可不可以，我放在中间好不好
？Our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And the answer is yes. Then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory of logic.
没开外挂，我真的没开外挂没。
Our destiny awaits. Hold up, what's this? The
只是
confusion
我
ending.
这点我比较怀疑一
You're
点，你
telling
看
me that's what this is?
不合逻
It's all
辑
one
啊，
giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game
另外解的吧？
8 times? That's really how all this goes? It's all...
套子在楼上那个
So
抽屉
now,
那边，
according to the schedule, I restart
你
again.
你借我那抽屉那
Am
边。
I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
对，
And the timer stopped. Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
这应该剧情表吧？
Okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. They're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
啊，新米店没有人。哎、
名字可以自己取。
你假赛啊，这不能取啊，这是史丹利的啊！我的，
呵呵，名字可以自己取。呵呵。
哇！
But Stanley simply couldn't handle hand pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility?
大怎么打？中天。拼破要刚刚。生小，跟照片，
能不能跟照片？
跟照片，跟照片，放在屁屁中的那个东西。我上次那一只不太好吃，个人觉得。
是哦，不错了。
是吗？因为我个人不太喜欢吃咖啡。
嗯，我知道啊。
就这样，他5点的时候叫我把地址给他，要让我刚才再回他而已。 我要这样说，非常机车开门店知道吧，在那边等就好。那大概几点有空，你要先讲一下，免你那边赶着。
说今天哦。
不然。
好吧，那我待会再
He
跟
had
你
never
说。
been trained for that. Not. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that he...
为什么不早说？为什么不早说？
waited long enough, the answers would come.
为什么不早说？
Eventually,
好久以前
someday,
就
they
说
would
了。
arrive. Soon,
我
very
就
soon
说你肥嘟
now,
嘟很好
this will
吃。
end. He will be spoken to. He will be
哦，这
told
段
what
真
to
的很
do.
长哎。
Now it's just a
半
little
年前一个
bit
像我那种
closer.
很长工作几天不结束，当时我知道个女的，但是我没有趁人之危，于是奇妙时间就把纸巾毛巾开始，一个痞子莫名其妙发现拔不出来，非得要说是我拔的，而且这个女的又完全相信，这个叫玫瑰的女人完全相信了我，而且要分裂跟我澄清，我当然不答应了，于是我偏跑，终于让我跑牛王，不对，我是那个女的，那女长得像牛王女儿，于是我就砰的一声跳到这里来，顺手捉了阿斗，跟你喝杯茶吃月饼，你说信不信？
我不信。
刘备的手下做得到，我曹操的手下也做不到。你，我本领请人像我那个我办公室劫财不劫色，但是我做一个女人，这是我们真的是为于是的是奇妙的事情，就把仔细搞定开始。一个痞子莫名其妙把剑拔出来，非得要说是我拔的，而这这样玫瑰的女人，我先相信我。而且非得要跟我澄清，我当然不答应了。于是我偏跑，终于让人跑赢牛魔。不对，我是那个女的，那就长得像牛魔的女人。于是我就砰的一声跳到这里，顺手捉了阿斗，跟你喝杯茶吃月饼，你说信不信？耶！我说你，你以为你是鹦鹉？错，我是鸽子。
你假赛呀
！Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
你看这个真是刚刚好啊！帮我在帮别人打，跟别人讲事情的中间，帮我多加这一串，不错。也对，观众才不会无聊。
All of his co-workers were gone.
为什么？
Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
喂，
Perhaps he had
我看到从另外一
something to
边，而且刚刚还明就要夹到我。没事。开门啊，这混蛋！你这混蛋！
No matter how hard Stanley looked,
一定要
he
交通
couldn't
表。
find a trace of his co-workers.
好像可以爬。啊，同事，我对不起你啊，是不是？对不起哦，对一下磕头。
对不起，我把你现在把A 片关掉。
为什么这一片呢？
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
喂，我刚竟然跳起来了，不知道，刚扛的是这个吧？这起码是空白键吧？只是不知道刚刚为什么他放上去，我刚踏上去他的电话了。
设定那边看一下
啊！设定那边没有。他说空白不就没有？
危险三件。
不会，我连字幕都不知道看，我都不知道字幕怎么开了。还有这旁白，赶快讲话好不好
Are you really just for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort.
我不太想像20是应该呀。
那种字幕很正常，那就让看门口一样而已。
哦。 只是看门狗那。
你以为会有一个对话泡泡跑出来？
对啊。
你以为会有对话泡泡跑出来 ？Oh shit! Fuck you！ 三小。
哎，不要说脏话。
我是高佳佳，我家很大，欢迎你来我家玩。
你家谁呀？
你看你要说脏话？
我这不是脏话。
大家都叫我佳佳，我家很大，欢迎你来我家玩。
那的。为什么可以拖到外面呢、而且外面是我知道有关的哪个东西啊？
我的名字是高佳佳，大家都叫我佳佳。我家很大，欢迎你来我家玩。
你可以去旁边玩一下沙子，没关系。
没有沙子，现在玩沙子还要钱，
真的假的？
对吧？
去哪里？
土地税啊。
土地税。
对啊，沙子也是土地。
土地你哪招啊？
除非你去公园玩。
你就去你的国小玩不就好了？
这么大只在公园里面玩沙会很奇怪，在国小更奇怪。
又没差。
要你这种身材，我叫佳佳，我家很大。
我家并不大。
我家玩。
我家不大。
佳佳，你有好多 A P。
我没有啊，这不是你吗？
哎呦，你脸红了。佳佳，你在做什么呀？佳佳，听话，我只是在帮你看看你有没有登大人而已。
你哪叫？
不要啊，佳佳，不要啊，佳佳，听话，让我看看。不要。
只是为什么他们会有马克杯
？2分钟之后，听着，如果你把今天的事情告诉别人，呵呵，我们走得起。
不要讲哦，喂，为什么要那么配合你？啊，结果，好像可以踹。
踹，按 F，按 Q，按 Q。
Q，按不起来，这不是爱灯。啊，这玩不下去了，怕下一关。玩你这北嘟嘟啊！这只馄饨。玩下一个就是。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
我们来玩最软的那一关。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley took the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stand bad at following directions. It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
不是你吗？你不是说藏了3万片？是吗？为什么是我那么多啊？小心坠落。加棒。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
好痛，我的手好痛。
就叫你不要一边看片子一边打手枪。
不是你吗？有人打电话
快接！
能接吗？能接吗？哪现在打电话啦？你这混沌，这里哦。不是见。 听起来像这间啊，一定这间。
Please, are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
就这样、老师电话这样啊？什么3000万片？就这个时候。你那的房间那么大，为什么不做小点呢？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Hey. Oi. Oi.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Hey, Susan.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Auntie.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I...
他现在做一段，明天才会做。
哦，那刚刚好了。
明天晚上起。
哦，是呀，那个我的。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had sent a memo.
我就跟他，然后他跟我说，再要不能玩的话呢，我就要砸店。然后我就说，别砸，我花200块跟你买下来，哇哈哈。
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace.
不要声音马上滑。
靠背。
不要嘛！我觉得还是关起来好了。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
结果整个办公室都是，整个办公室就是我的纸张垃圾场。不
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too much. Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
I'm
not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your word aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
想当你就是因为这开始是吗？
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you oh no you can't. Did you just
我刚接电话了啊。
Now that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
只是我明明就拔掉了。
Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action.
这太神了！都是哪家电话？可以去买买看吗？
I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices?
不对啊，都转。
Wait a second.
是哦。
Did I just see?
我觉得就不是不
That's
行。
not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basically protocoled for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I wouldn't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend...
What the...
years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought.
啊，蓝屏呢？有没有档？哎，档了。
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Oh, 电话没电了，一电影看太多了。
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a single space, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spent code. Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
不要趁机骂我吧。
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. Right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, 他会推我。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction, perhaps not too late. Oh, it's ruined. You can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there weren't a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't ever come to that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I could not live that way. Is it better to shut the game down in time, to willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. Thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you. You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Danny, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
好的，这集太久了，这边都已经1小时22分钟。如果喜欢我的影片，可以在下方点个喜欢，然后呢，想一下，如果你感觉很烂，你按烂没关系，但记得在底下说为什么烂哦。好的，对了，喜欢我点订阅，我。应该是说想要再知道后续的结果，可以按订阅。想一下还有什么？对，这款叫史丹利，对吧？史丹利的寓言，这边好，就这样，拜拜。